South Australia. I'm Kathy Lambert. We're bringing you the game today between the Hills Heat and the Port Adelaide Magpies. And joining me for the commentary today, I've got James Harris and Lee Hull. Welcome, James.
Thanks, Kathy. Big game today between top of the table Port Magpies against the Hills Heat, who have come off a win on Wednesday night against the Seacombe Tigers. Now, it's not a new look lineup. They're pretty much unchanged except for the starting pitcher, Georgia Hood. She comes in fresh off a win last night, Sport SA Country Athlete of the Year. So a massive accolade and acknowledgement for Georgia Hood. So they'll be strengthened. Lee, you've got the Port
changes.
Yes,
thank you and good afternoon, everyone. It's a great day here, as Kathy mentioned before. The Port side, well, they're the strongest they've looked for a few weeks now. They have the returning Rita Meyer, who last 10 turns at bat scored 9 safe hits. That's fantastic batting. They'll welcome that. They've also have Talia George, their normal centre fielder, and up the order batting player back. So I'm expecting them to be very tough today. I think it's as strong a line as they can put out there.
Absolutely, and they met a few weeks ago on a Wednesday night, James, and the result was
8-1 to Port Adelaide, so without Georgia Hood, so that was the main difference. However, as Lee mentioned, Rita Meyer wasn't in the lineup for Port Adelaide that night as well. So both teams looking pretty strong, probably the strongest both sides have looked all season long. It's going to be a great clash.
And as always, thank you to Spacequake Sports for providing this opportunity to bring softball to just not only the South Australian community, but the Australian community and our international community as well. So a big thank you to Spacequake Sports and Softball SA.
Great pass. What a catch!
My goodness.
What an amazing catch from Vicky McFarlane.
Highlight reel, never say yes to the jest. That was fantastic. Saratoga can make it a push for home. This is 400 herself. 13 strikeouts for Gavin. One of the best pitching performances we've seen this season. What a fantastic grab by Emma Burridge. He climbs the ladder and brings it down. Ground this up the middle, that's going to score a run. Bruin score 2. Deep to left field. This is back, and this one is gone. It's magic from Madeline.
And welcome back, everyone. It's Kathy Lambert here with James Harris and Lee Hull, and looking forward to the big clash here today between the Port Adelaide Magpies, first place team, against fifth place team, Hills Heat.
Should be an excellent clash today. We've got Katie Sutherland Finch, who's been the most outstanding starting pitcher that we've seen in a few years for the first third of the season, at least anyway. She's been quite dominant, but the Hills Heat are getting themselves into a little bit of form as well, so should be a close game, I think.
Absolutely. Coming off a win on Wednesday night, Hills Heat up to bat first, and we've got Amber Hood. And Amber is going to be playing in the catcher's position today. No doubt catching to her sister, Georgia Hood. And she's got a ball to start off with. And a second ball, so no game by Port Adelaide on Wednesday night, but they did have a loss against West Torrens last Saturday, 2-1.
Probably keen to get back in the winning circle as well.
No doubt, and there's the strike. So 2 balls, 1 strike on Amber Hood.
We spoke to Amber after the game on Wednesday night. She was our statewide super player of the game. She said that it was a clear message from the coaches to see as many pitches as you can. That was against Araha Munro and the Seacombe Tigers on Wednesday. And obviously a similar tactic as we can see today. She hasn't taken the bat off her shoulder yet.
No, and the for first batter as well, they're there to look a lot of pitches as well. But good game by Amber too on Wednesday night. Lots of great base running and a few steals. Lee, who have we got calling the game today?
Calling the game today, Kath. It's Kevin Tannebring, KT on plate. At first base, it's Neville Lawrence, the Hall of Famer, and third base is David Borovnik. gets a go in at the A grade up here. So I thought David had given the way this year, but obviously not. And he's back umpiring, which he loves.
And yeah, very, very experienced set of blue men out there. And Katie Sutherland Finch brings up her first K2 of the game. Catches Amber Hood's
I'll go around the
swinging.
field for the defensive side of things for the Magpies. It's Katie Sutherland Finch, the hyphenator, pitching to Georgia Murphy. First base, Tash Straps. Second is Ella Forrester. Third, it's Maddie Matchkey, and Vicky McFarlane's in the hole at short. Outfield left to right, Gemma Letton, Talia George, Rita Meyer.
And first strike in there to Emily Hopkins. Emily playing first base today. We saw her pitching on Wednesday night. And she had a bit of a look at that one, but decided against it, and that brings up 1-1.
I tell you, there's some pace out there, isn't there, already?
Yeah, she's having a couple of grunts as she delivers today, Katie Sutherland Finch. Hey, Emily Hopkins moved up the batting order from Wednesday night. She was batting 3 or 4. And Maddie Rocha has moved down the order a little, but you're probably always going to make a few changes in the order around Georgia Hood, seeing she's the best batter in this team.
Makes a bit of difference to the Hills top Hood, Georgia, doesn't it?
And 1 ball, 2 strikes. Oh, what a great changeup, but unfortunately just got away from the catcher there, and Emily Hopkins is safe at first.
You take them when you can get them. Drop third strike. The pitch got away from catcher Murphy, but Emily Hopkins aboard for the Hills first base runner.
And that brings up Georgia Hood. James, tell us a little bit about some excitement that happened in the softball and South Australian sporting community last night for Georgia.
Well, we were nominated, we were finalists in 2 categories in the SA Sports Awards last night, so very special thanks to Sport SA, and they're the lead advocate for sport in South Australia, and they have annual awards, and this is one of the first times that we've been nominated for any awards, let alone finalists, and Georgia was a finalist in the Country Athlete of the Year, and an award she won.
Yeah.
Fantastic effort.
And 1-1 out there for Georgia, and well deserved. What a commitment this family have made, and Georgia from such a young age has been traveling every weekend up here to play softball and further her development, and also the state trips, the Australian trips. Yeah, this family loves softball, and that's just a great reward for her. Oh,
Very committed.
Very committed. Good steal out there by Emily, but just an unfortunate bounce for Vicky McFarlane, just not able to take that ball.
No, it just reared up, didn't it? So luckily there wasn't a lot of pace on the throw. Otherwise that would have been dangerous for Vicky. But Emily's there in the scoring position.
Well,
it's a good start for the Hills.
Good aggressive base running, runner in scoring position now, and Georgia gets this into play, and they could score.
And Georgia's known for big hits, so she'll be wanting to. Oh, she certainly had a good swing at that, but again, just not quite good enough. And second K2 there for Katie Sutherland Finch. And I believe the last time these two met, Danny Perez got a triple off of Katie, so we'll see what happens here. And I think she was the RBI run that came in that 8-1 score line on that Wednesday night.
Well, the infield's in pretty close as well. They're pretty tight, so anything that goes to the outfield will go past them, you'd think. And Danny will get on her bike, looking for extra bases, and will probably score Emily Hopkins pretty easily if she can find a gap.
Yes, yeah, so definitely be looking at getting this runner into around the bases here. And got her on a high pitch there, so 1 ball, 1 strike on Jenny Perez.
And that was a great pitch. It just took off late and committed Danny into playing a shot at it.
A little bit of breeze around as well, like it's just a bit blowy around our table at the commentary position, but that'll definitely be helping the pitcher in Sutherland and her spinners that she throws, likes to throw the up ball.
And just got away from her, a little high pitch there, and again just got away from catcher Murphy. And that takes Emily Hopkins over to third base. So definitely in scoring position here, and as I said before, Danny Perez is capable of getting some hits off of, or getting a hit off of Katie, and she'll be wanting to do that again here.
The thing that impresses me about Georgia Murphy when the ball gets away from her, she doesn't panic straight away and then rifle the ball up the line, as we've seen twice so far in this game. You don't want to make 2 mistakes on the one play.
Yeah, not this early in the game as well, and you can't, you've got to keep the mistakes low against both of these teams because they'll jump on them.
Off pitch.
And unfortunately, they just saw that high pitch again there and just got away from Georgia, a little bit too high for her to get to, and that brings in a run for Emily Hopkins and the Hills Heat, so the score is 1-0.
Great signs for Hills Heat. We saw them on Wednesday night. They were able to score in the first inning. This time around it was Emily Hopkins to get on base. She stole a second, a couple of pass balls to score, so they're looking to score early and they're capable of doing so.
I think that's what you need to do against a side like Port with this pitcher. You need to be on the scoreboard early because you may not get another chance.
And we've got 2 strikes on the bat here, full count, so let's see what's going to happen here. And a great pitch there, and just a little bit too quick there for Danny, and that retires the side. 1-0 to the Hills Heat.
Yes, further to what I was saying about getting on the board early against Port, she's only conceded, or her team has only conceded 9 runs in 8 games this year, so that tells a story in itself.
Absolutely. James, while we've got a tiny little break in here, I'd like to congratulate you and your team of Kelsey Nucky and Alice Prokopek and the amazing job you guys did to bring Denso, the Denso team from Japan, and hold an Australian event here in the January long weekend, which resulted in you also taking out the community event of the year at the Softball SA Sport Awards last night. So great effort to all of you. It was a very high-class event, and to be recognized against other fantastic sports events across the state, it's quite an achievement for you guys, so well done.
Thanks, Kathy. What made the event so good was that it was supported by the entire Softball SA community. It was on the same weekend as our senior state championships, and we just had a huge crowd, although the weather was hot. Heaps of people came out to watch. The Japanese team, Denso Bright Pegasus, I cannot thank them enough for coming to Australia, and then Softball Australia for, of course, allowing the Aussie Spirit to come to Adelaide and play that 4-game series. And you know, when we were announced as finalists, it was a pretty proud moment, but to take out the award was something else. You know, I was in a room full of people that I've admired in the sporting industry. I saw Anna Mears get inducted into the Sport SA Hall of Fame, and even pinched a photo with her later on in the night. So that was a couple of highlights for me last night, the award and meeting Anna Mears. So no, it was terrific.
Yeah.
Fantastic and thoroughly deserved, James. The Denso weekend, it was hot, but it was fantastic. Fantastic softball.
All right, and we've got the shortstop, Vicky McFarlane, up to bat here. And Lee, when you get a chance, if you want to give us the Hills Heat defense here.
I'll do that, Kath.
And Georgia Hood just starting off with a ball there.
Not a bad idea to throw around Vicky McFarlane, try and get her chasing on a bad pitch and get a cheap out, because she's a quality player. And if she can get the ball into play, she'll try and leg out a single or maybe even extra bases.
Yeah, she's very quick, and we're really excited to have her back from America, back into the South Australian competition again this year, and also selected in the South Australian Open Women's team, and she's an absolute asset to that team.
Lee's going to go around the lineup in a moment, but I've just seen the changes from Wednesday night. Alex Mackey was catching to Emily Hopkins on Wednesday night, the old pals, and Georgia comes in, Amber comes in to catch, Danny Perez moves across from third to short.
So I'll take this opportunity to go around the defence for the green team. It's Georgia Hood pitching to sister Amber. First base, Emily Hopkins. Third base, it's Alex Mackey. In the pivot positions, at second, it's Mackenzie Ween and Danny Perez at shortstop. Outfield, Amanda Fairley, Maddie Rocha, Courtney May.
And so Vicky got herself a walk onto first, and we've got Talia George, center fielder Talia George, up now on the left-handed side of the box, and I have no doubt that probably Vicky's going to try and look to get in a couple of extra bases here.
Talia has always impressed me in this Port lineup. In the left-handed batter's box, she gets her hands to the ball very well, gets the ball in the play a lot, gets on base so much. So very impressive batter for Port Adelaide at the top of the order and to help get McFarlane into scoring position.
Has great concentration. That's what makes her such a good batter up the top. Normally bats one, or has been batting one, but she'll get her money's worth for sure.
What do you think of having McFarlane at leadoff? Would you prefer to see her with runners ahead of her, maybe trying to score them on her extra base hits that she's capable of hitting? Or?
Yeah, I would personally, but with her being up, I know she likes to bat up the order. Vicky, I was talking to her today and she was very pleased she was batting one. I agree with what you say, James, the sentiments exactly. But here comes a person that's been batting. She's been away. She's been up the Gold Coast, Rita Meyer.
And we just saw K2 from Talia George. And now we're seeing a steal and a safe steal from Vicky McFarlane but good throw from Amber Hood. But yeah, Vicky's got some quality speed in her legs, and you've got to have it absolutely spot on and early to be able to even think about getting her out.
Well, she runs like an unregistered jet plane, doesn't she? Really, she is lightning.
All right, we've got Reed up here. 1 strike, 1 ball.
So we saw the swing on the first pitch as well, so it was a hit and run, or she was covering for a steal, probably a hit and run. Maybe 2 pitches too late. Maybe Talia George could have done the same thing.
Yeah, but I need viewers that are watching this to have a look how far Vicky comes down.
That puts the pressure on the catcher, and obviously she got the result that she was after with those big leadoffs.
Yeah. Well, when both you and I, James, at men's, we've always been instructed, come down when you're at second as a runner, come down as far as the nearest person, and you're going to beat them back by the time the throw comes back. So.
Yeah, absolutely. And I saw Amber Hood do a really good job of that on Wednesday night. She really has got that move down pat, and it's really paid off multiple times this year, and that's popped up. Oh, and yeah, what a great dive back by Vicky McFarlane. She's already messing. The game's only about 10 minutes in, and she's got a lot of chalk on her already. Let's have a look at that replay. Just unfortunately, that was a pop-up for
third base Mackie was down because the bunt attempt, and so they didn't have anyone covering the base, but they still trying to make that double play. Excellent base running from McFarlane. You see her diving back on the statewide super replay.
And up now we've got Emily Catuzzo, who's 1 ball.
Yeah, Emily's the batting in this game as the DP for the third base player, Maddie Matchkey. So Maddie Matchkey's not batting, Emily is in her place.
And 1 ball, 1 strike.
Maddie's been doing a bit of lead-off work as well.
She had a nice little punch at that, just off the foul line, first base foul line.
Maddie's been doing a little bit of lead-off work for the Magpies. Are we surprised that she didn't move down the order before she was out of the batting line?
Yes, possibly, but you had to fit 2 people in, 2 quality people in, so game of numbers, I think, James.
Yeah, that's a good pitch. Up high in the zone on that, after 2 strikes, it's always a great pitch to throw just to get the batters swinging, and paid off for her. So
pretty good in the end from the Hills Heat, because they managed to stop Port Adelaide from scoring. The lead-off got on from a walk, and your percentages of scoring when you get a lead-off walk in any inning is it increases. So, well done, because she managed to steal a base. She got to third on the pass ball, and this squeeze bunt attempt nearly came unstuck, didn't they? But it was good base running to get back in time to identify the pop-up and then to get back in time. So
and I've been handed the message that pitcher Katie Sutherland Finch is only 4 K2s short of 100 K2s for the season.
Oh.
That is ridiculous at this time of the year.
Did she have a couple in the first? Do they count, or is it 3 to go now?
I'm sorry, I just got the message then, so I'm assuming, and you should never assume, that it's inclusive of them.
Plenty more action to come later on today. We won't be bringing the action. We bring one game each week. And a couple of huge clashes, Walkerville versus Sturt, that's 3rd versus 4th, and West Torrens versus Glenelg at 6 o'clock, one you'll be watching with interest.
Definitely be watching. Again, one foot in each camp of that one, and yes, just cheering on for a good game. Yeah, we're resuming here the 2nd inning, and we've got Maddie Rocher up to bat. And she's got 1 ball already.
Had a good game on Wednesday night, Maddie Rocher, the game we televised. Took a terrific line drive catch. Most of the commentary team thought it bounced a couple of times, so that's how quick it was going. It was very good defensively.
What was so good about it was that she was running forward at full pace, and she caught the ball probably a couple of centimetres off the ground, so very impressive.
And we made comments she was on the move all night, which is, as a coach, you'd love to see your outfielders not just standing in the one spot.
Oh, great pitch again, just that high pitch on 2 strikes. Catches Maddie Rocher swinging. So I think we're going to make that 100 strikeouts.
That could be a 100th for the season.
Could be 100.
4th for the game.
Could be. I'm sure I'll get another message saying yes or no, depending whether we say she's on 97 now or 100.
What a great stat, and so early in the season.
So early in the season, fantastic, isn't it?
Actually, you know who was the 100th? It would have been Danny Perez because of the drop 3rd strike of Emily Hopkins. So there was 4 in the 1st inning.
Well, when I received it was with 1 batter to go in the 1st inning, so.
Yeah, great pitching there, and we've got Alex Mackey up here to bat.
Very confident swing on Alex just then as well. She's a former state representative, under 17s, under 19s, so she wasn't holding back on that swing, which is very positive to see. Hills need to put the ball into play.
Yeah, with 1-0 up, they'll want to be getting a little more from that. They'll know that that's not enough. So looking to Alex to start. They've just got 2 strikes on her. And 1 ball, just a bit low in the strike zone there, just outside. Yeah, good swing there, fouled off behind. Definitely hoping to get a little bit more of a look at this and hope to get the pitch that she's looking for.
Alex is a very versatile player. You know, a couple of seasons ago she was at Seacombe and she was catcher, she was second, she was outfield, and you can see that in the Hills lineup as well. She caught Wednesday, 3rd base tonight.
Yeah, I saw a little bit of adjustment on her handle there, but unfortunately just not quite enough of an adjustment. And,
got under it.
Yep, Katie brings up another K2, catches Alex swinging. We're going to see youngster Mackenzie Ween in the batting box now.
And Katie will be trying to get Mackenzie Ween, and then come to the next innings when she has batters 8 and 9, and then she gets into the strength of the Hills hitting. So it's all a plan, I would suggest.
A nice pitch there. Mackenzie selected in the state under-19 softball team, which will be contesting their championships in Sydney in late January. Mackenzie also played in the under-23s recently in Queensland and did a really good job as an outfielder and a relief pitcher.
In July, yeah, we mentioned that in the call on Wednesday night that she represented South Australia in the 17s, the 19s and the 23s in the one season.
Big year.
Fantastic.
Big year for her. All right, she's got 2 strikes on her at the moment. And
she was in the starting lineup for all of them. No swing for me.
Not. No, not a swing for me either. No, she held back on that one really well.
got the endorsement from the best in the business as well, Neville Lawrence, the World Baseball Softball Hall of Famer.
Well, you can't argue with that.
That one is definitely right down the middle. So great pitching there, Katie Sutherland-Finch, and that was a 3 up, 3 down, all strikeouts inning. Well done.
Every batter has been struck out. We saw Emily Hopkins reach on a drop third strike. I don't want to say it.
Yeah.
Not this early. She's been quite dominant, hasn't she?
We're all thinking it, but it just took somebody. It's just going to take someone to say it.
That's a big call there, James, from you.
Well, the reason why it's worth talking about as well, and the man to our right, Mr. David Muggleton, put together an unbelievable highlights package of Katie Sutherland-Finch's perfect game. 18 batters, 18 strikeouts from earlier in the season. So it's about 4.5, 5 weeks on, 5 weeks on since it happened. 1 million views on our Facebook videos alone. So not to mention YouTube, not to mention NITV, not to mention Channel 44. 1 million views. It was Spacequake Sports' first 1 million view video. So congratulations to David and the Spacequake Sports
It's
team.
only 3 words I can say to that, and rightly so.
Yeah, and
it was a fantastic game.
It was, and the package looked great, and and looked at James. I think that was a couple of days ago, so I wouldn't be surprised if we're over 1 million now. But wow, what an absolute achievement! And back to the game here. We've got Tash Straps up, leading off Port Adelaide here. Some nice change of speed there from Georgia Hood.
It was a couple of weeks ago since I've seen Port Adelaide last, because I have been away. However, I think Tash was the flex player in that game. So similar to what Maddie Matchke's role is today, Tash Straps was out of the batting lineup. So good to see that she's back in there. Hopefully she can get some balls in play.
Well, when she's going, she's a good batter, like most people.
Yeah, former Stars player, former Australian under-19 squad member from a couple of years ago, and she's represented South Australia very well in the junior ranks.
Yeah, just got 1 ball, 2 strikes on her now. Yeah, absolutely, James. Tash has a great background in junior softball and brings
under 23s as well in July.
Yes,
Yeah, sorry.
she did too. Yep, pitcher first base there, and great batter. So it brings a lot to any team that she plays for. She's changed over from Sturt this year to Port Adelaide.
Another one of our wonderful athletes as well, with a great personality. She's always bubbly and always smiling, and got an infectious laugh as well.
Oh, I sat in a car at under 23s with her several times, and that laugh, you do not forget it. It's a hearty laugh, and it's straight from the heart, straight from the belly. And just fouled off there, so staying in here, staying in the count, 2-2.
This is about as hard as I've seen Georgia pitch for a couple of 3 games, I think. She seems to be pretty loose and pretty limber here.
Yes, probably, we're definitely used to seeing some high-quality pitching from Georgia, and no doubt, the win from the recognition from the Country Player of the Year last year was still has to be fresh for her.
I was caught in a conversation last night with one of the other sports from within South Australia, and just talking about her made me realise how busy she actually is. So watch this one through.
There's a called strike, and that brings up the first out for Port Adelaide.
And the more I talked about it, the more I realised how busy she actually is. She just finished Year 12 yesterday.
Wow.
Last exam yesterday, drove up for the SA Sports Awards on the same day from Mount Gambier, and she works part-time in Mount Gambier at KFC, and she plays netball in the winter, as well as she went to Friendship Series earlier in the year as well. She's in the state under-19 team. She's in the state open women's team. She's just got a full calendar, hasn't she?
Yeah, and I believe she turned 18 last week as well.
Happy birthday last week. She turned 18.
It's been a big week for her. Well, it's always a big, lots of big weeks for this family, but certainly for her. We've got young Ella Forrester, who's playing second base today, up, and 2 balls her way. just got her on a high pitch there. Bringing up her first strike. Ella comes from the Central Districts competition.
Ella's family is actually the family that are billeting Katie Sutherland Finch as well. So imagine the insight and the experience that she's getting from her housemate at the moment.
Yeah, that'd be really exciting for Ella. She's an absolutely lovely girl. I had the pleasure of being part of the under-15 team a couple of years ago when she was in it, and she's just absolutely lovely, keen for knowledge, wants to improve, but unfortunately just watched that strike over there, and she'll be heading herself back to the bench now. It's 2 strikes now, 2 strikeouts, and 2 strikeouts and 2 outs now for Port Adelaide.
Yes, and while we talk about Katie, we mustn't look past George the way she's going today. As I've said, seen a fair bit of her lately, and she looks as good as ever.
She's got four strikeouts herself so far.
Certainly has.
A couple in each inning, so she looks on today.
A little high there, and brings up the first ball for Katie Sutherland Finch.
And you're talking about Ella Forrester. I believe she's going back, as James mentioned, they're the host family, the Forresters, for Katie, and she's going back for Christmas and taking Ella with her. So that'll be a wonderful experience for Ella. Young person, young player.
That is awesome. That's really exciting. And how good is that? And you know, we have these international pitchers come over and players that come over and play here in South Australia. And you know, not only do they bring a quality game, but they also bring this experience of life in their softball world. And how exciting that now they can develop these really close friendships and expose our players to their world as well. That's just a great story, Lee.
She doesn't hold back on her swings, does she? We've already seen right here on Spacequake Sports, she's hit 2 over. So I haven't really seen too many of her other games other than her Diamond 1 games. Has she no other home runs, Lee?
No. It's going to be fence or nothing, I think.
Oh, she wanted that.
That one's fouled off into the hand of the catcher.
Yeah, Amber's just shaking that off there. So, yeah, George is doing a good job on her here, and absolutely, Katie's looking to hit that ball hard. She likes Diamond 1 here, and we'll just look at the replay here again.
Amber really moving outside there, not trying to give her anything.
And come up early, didn't it?
Yeah, it was quick off to her right side there. So
the change up as well. So she might have been in 2 minds to block the ball. So obviously that's why the right arms come around in case she needed to block. And Sutherland Finch, that ball was way outside the plate as well. So she did well to get bat on ball there.
It's the foul tips that can hurt you badly.
Oh, great pitch. Yeah, George is doing, absolutely. We always talk about Katie Sutherland Finch and the quality of pitching that she brings, but have a look at Georgia Hood today. So far she's on, what have we got? 1, 2, 3, it looks like about 5.
And the 3 batters then all went down looking on the 3rd pitch.
So we are really looking like we're going to have a real good game if this type of game
Pitcher's
continues.
battle now.
Absolutely. So James, who else have we got again this afternoon?
4 o'clock. So the next time slot, Walkerville versus Sturt Falcons. It is 3rd versus 4th. Now, should Sturt pick up a win here, they'll create separation and give the Hills a chance to move into the top 4 should they remain in front in this game. So that's how close it is. Whereas if Walkerville win, they will stay ahead in the 4 and creep up on 3rd place Sturt. So it's going to be an intriguing battle, that matchup at 4, and at 6 o'clock West Torrens, who are equal top, just runs against short of Port Adelaide in the top position. Both those teams have only played the 8 games. And Glenelg, who have got a win and a couple of draws as well, are looking promising. You can tell that if they can just start to gel a little bit more, that they're going and put more offensive pressure on opposition teams, they'll be one to watch in the latter half of the year.
Absolutely. Yeah, it should be a good matchup. And we've got Courtney May up to bat here for the Hills Heat.
Well, just talking about that particular game, James, the last time those 2 teams played, the Glenelg pitcher, she tidied up the West Torrens batters big time with their change-ups. I wonder what tack she's going to take this time against them, because I'd be going the same way, I think.
If I recall that the catchphrase for the night watching Barb Skopova pitch was, "There it is."
There it is pitch.
Yeah, she was on fire that night with that changeup. Good, back to here. We've got Courtney May here on 2 strikes. Courtney had a check swing there, but just a little bit too far around, and that brings up a strikeout for Barb. For Katie, sorry. Speaking about Barb, so that was a really interesting game, and it'll be interesting to see what she brings to the game today, whether she has a similar tactic or whether she's going to change it up a little bit.
I had a Czech teammate when I was in the Gold Coast a couple of weeks ago, and he actually knows Barb and spoke highly of her. Peter Puckle. G'day, Pete. He, I'm sure he'll be watching. He's over in Australia.
Is that a real name? Say that again.
Peter, and and he's over in Australia doing on a university scholarship, biochemistry of all things. So g'day, Pete.
Clever stuff, doing that.
All right, Amanda Fairley in the batting box here. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Known to her friends as Reggie.
Reggie Fairley.
She's come back from a couple of knee reconstructions as well, Reggie. She's one of those unfortunate athletes that you suffer one and then you suffer another, and great to see the spirit of the player, and she's made her way back and now playing in the A-grade competition.
And enjoying herself. She always looks like she's having a good time, no matter the situation.
Two and two.
So we've seen the Hills batters swinging at some higher pitches, but a few of them have left that one that is a low rise. It starts low in the zone, or maybe even below the strike zone, and creeps its way up into the zone, and that's the one that the Hills players need to be sitting on.
Oh, nice high pitch there. Nice riser, and just got her swinging on that last one there, and that brings up second out here, and the second K2 for the inning.
9 for the game. They need something different here, the Hills. See if they learn the second time through the lineup. Well, it's not really. It's the second time they've faced her as well. They dropped a game a couple of weeks ago, 8-1. So they scored against her that day as well.
Yeah, and we're top of the lineup here. We've got Amber Hood.
Yes, the most runs in the game scored against Katie Sutherland Finch was the Seacombe game. The last time they played them, they scored 3, and I think they scored 2 in the last inning, Seacombe. So it can be done, but whether it can be done consistently is another thing.
Amber having a good look at those pitches again, a bit like she did the first time up. Saw a lot of pitches coming over.
You touched on Wednesday night about Amber, just a complete player, even at this young age, isn't she, James? She can do everything.
Yeah, she can hit a line drive to the fence. She can leg out an infield single. And, you know, she's a great leader for this team. We kept mentioning how, you know, she's a barometer for their side. And every time we mentioned her, she stood up. And she was the difference on Wednesday night.
And she certainly was.
See if she makes an adjustment with 2 strikes here.
A little high for her, so it brings up 2 and 2.
Again, the infield's so close for me, but they don't want a little chinker to drop in.
Yeah, and with fouled off just behind the grandstand there. Yeah, and with Amber's speed, you know, any ball that's just going to be a slow roller, you're going to have to get onto really quickly to be able to get her out. So no doubt that's what some of those infielders that are playing a little closer, that's what they're looking for. Yeah, another good pitch there by Katie, and good foul off there from Amber. Just not quite what she wanted.
staying alive, fouling that one off. Be interesting, maybe, Lee, if we could grab your thoughts. Hopefully for Amber she gets on, or if she gets out here, you can talk about it. But the interesting changes in philosophies with batting with 2 strikes now. Timeout called. What I'm saying is that Amber has not stopped swinging hard at this ball, whereas in years gone by, you may hear of coaches suggesting to batters, particularly against a dominant pitcher, just to get the ball into play, even if it means just a stab at the ball instead of a big swing.
Wow, that's a great hit, and as you said, she's capable of a line drive, and unfortunately that just was a little bit too close to Vicky McFarlane at shortstop, who took an easy catch.
Very well read off the bat as well. Hopefully we can see a statewide super replay, but she moved to her right and took the catch comfortably, but there was nothing easy about it, and she did make it look easy. There was plenty of topspin on that ball, and it was coming hard as well, so well done.
But the thing is with Vicky, as we've seen this season already, she's so fluent.
Yeah, she read that.
And it's not a strain to get there, she just floats there. Yes, what you were saying about that, James, about just getting the ball in the play, well, I think that's half a negative attitude when we look at softball today, and see, just keep going. You put pressure back on the pitcher, and you're just telling the pitcher, I'm not frightened of you. The speed you're throwing, I'm coming at you. You know, I think that's all part of it, and it's a mental game, as you know.
We see it in the college softball when you watch perhaps online or on ESPN or even the National Pro Fast Pitch League in the US. The batters are hitting their way out of trouble. We saw it at the World Championship final between the USA and Japan. Even the best pitcher in the world, Ueno from Japan, USA won that game because they hit her. They weren't playing short game. They knew that they had to score 4, 5, 6 runs to win that game, and they just stuck with it the whole entire game, batting, batting, batting. So, you know, it's still a tactic, and there's still a place for it in the game, but bunting is perhaps an old strategy now.
Yes, the Denso, I just love watching the Denso people playing. You know, they were the same thing. They come in full of confidence in the batting box. You know, nothing's too much trouble for them, and that's part of the psyche of the game. Still
need to be able to execute the short game,
of course,
when it calls for it.
All right, and from Port Adelaide, we've got left fielder Gemma Letner. And 1 ball, 1 strike on Gemma.
Gemma, of course, won our youth or junior athlete of the year earlier in 2018 after a stellar season.
It just fouls off that ball.
That award.
MVP in the 17 national.
Yep.
Gemma.
Yep.
Yes.
And that was, of course, a very special thank you to West Beach Parks, who support and sponsor that award. So her family would have enjoyed a nice weekend stay at West Beach Parks in the caravan park or resort.
Oh, good piece there, good piece. A bit of a fumble there, and yeah, she beats that out. So well done, Gemma Letner.
That is why she's in the lineup. She has got speed, and I wouldn't be surprised if you see her stealing across to second base.
Yeah, nice piece. She's taken off really quickly there. Nice running action, and yes, just beats it out there. So
very
well done,
promising
Gemma.
player, Gemma.
So runner on base, and that just what's a whole different ball game here.
Popped up foul. So Alex at third didn't really do anything wrong. She knocked down the ball. She kept it in front of her. She's still able to make the play. Perhaps on 6 or 7 of the batters in the Port Adelaide lineup, that may have been an out.
Yep.
Because it was very close and just happened to be against the fastest runner in the team.
Yeah. People like her, Gemma running, and Vicky McFarlane, you know, it's
great catch.
Oh, that would have been a hit and run, but almost paid off. But wow, what a great take out there by Mackenzie Ween. And yeah, Gemma's speed got a little bit, unfortunately at that stage it was just unfortunate for her.
Looked like it was clear for a while.
Statewide Super Special Replay will show it here. Mackenzie Ween is on the line and she read it really well. She caught it right at the right moment, but Gemma letting out her head down. That was definitely a hit and run. And running bunt here from Vicky McFarlane. Can she beat it out? Just bounced off the glove of Mackenzie Wayne.
Look at the pressure of this running.
That's brilliant play. Well done, Vicky McFarlane.
Again, the speed of the game is more important than, you know, perhaps the short version of the game. Statewide Super Special Replay.
She's looked at that and said, I'm off. Yeah, well done. Well read, and yeah, good heads up running there by Vicky McFarlane. And putting a runner in scoring position here. Talia George up to bat.
That leadoff is just way too big to throw it straight back to the pitcher, and Amber should know because she was the one doing it on Wednesday night. She took full advantage of it. She stole third on the throwback to the pitcher on one occasion.
Absolutely, it's become a bit of a specialty for Amber. I've seen it in a couple of games now, and yeah, she should be the first person to be looking out for that.
Just mentioned before, nothing wrong with Georgia Murphy's hit, that hit and run. She got it behind the runner. Just fantastic catch from Mackenzie Wayne.
Yeah, just fouled off there, but yeah, you're right, James. I mean, if it was 3 centimeters higher, it would have been an absolute great hit, and we would have seen Vicky with potentially an in-the-park home run.
Georgia Murphy.
Georgia Murphy.
Yeah, because again, the outfield is in. They look in on both sides.
Yeah, Gemma, definitely would have made it in with the speed that she's got. Oh, great pitching, Georgia Hood. Well done. And that retires the side, and another K2 in her.
So a lot of promise then by the Magpies, but it amounted to nothing. With the line drive and the double, and then Vicky getting on. It just shows you how cruel this game can be, because Mackenzie takes the hard shot and then goes in to take the catch at first and drops the ball. It's a funny game, isn't it, really? I was just trying to think of the word then, funny.
Yeah, well, Mackenzie did an absolutely amazing job. She climbed that ladder to take that catch at full stretch, and that's kept them in front as well, by the way, because Letton even gets to second or maybe even third on that one.
Yeah.
The running bunt from Vicky McFarlane that was safe, you know, that could have advanced, and we could be looking at a tied ball game.
Yep. It's the beauty of this game. One of the beauties of this game, this sport, is that you just never know what's going to happen on the next pitch.
Yeah, you can never sit back and be comfortable about a game. It's always on the edge of your seat. All right, starting off here for the Hills Heat, we've got our second batter. Second in the lineup, Emily Hopkins. And Emily got on last time with a dropped third strike, and has been the sole run scorer so far for the game, and just has a bit of a swing at that one, but it just came in at off-speed pitch and just dropped a little bit low for her. Brings up one strike.
Good hands and a good hold on that one, high out of the zone. And if the Hills can learn anything from their first turns at bat, and as they go through the lineup the second time, it is to lay off that high pitch, because it's not in the strike zone, but a lot of them are still swinging at it.
Yeah, there it is, a little bit high there, so it brings up 2 strikes. We'll see if Emily makes any kind of an adjustment here.
Well, I wouldn't be going to the off-pace pitch now because it got away last time for this batter.
A little outside there, 2-2. And that just gets her on the fingers by the look of it there, and so she's off to first again.
So was that a check swing, or Coach Sims is on his way out to ask that question? Tanya's just cutting him off there to have a word, maybe. Maybe she was coming to talk to Georgia, but you could see that she did mention something to him there. She's going to ask the question. If it hits you on the hands or on the arms and you're not swinging, it's a hit by pitch, right?
Let's have a look on the replay here. Yeah, she's got a little bit of a swing going there, but we'll see what the KT has to say there. And he looks like he's pretty happy with the call, as is. And we've got Emily Hopkins on base, and that brings up Georgia Hood.
Emily been on base twice now, once from a drop third strike, once from a hit by pitch. And that breaks the string of strikeouts.
Interesting 2 turns at bat for him.
Good swing there, but a little bit ahead of Georgia there.
Sutherland Finch didn't hold back on that one. She obviously knows that Georgia's their strongest batter, and so she just wants to be up for the challenge, doesn't she?
Yeah, she's been pitching like the variety that she's pitched is really catching everybody off guard here.
Pop up.
Yeah, yes. When you're asked to put down a bunt, the last thing you want to be doing is putting it up in the air, unfortunately. So we'll just look at that replay there. Yeah, first base covered that really quickly. Tash Straps.
Well, with none out, you can't blame the coach for trying a bunt, but for your best hitter in the lineup, I'm letting her swing away.
And that brings up Danny Perez, and as we said before, Danny's had a triple off of Katie Sutherland and Finch, which not too many people in this competition would have been able to do. So no doubt she comes in with a bit of confidence, and with Emily Hopkins at first, she'll be wanting to replicate something similar.
Well, it has been very scarce to see hits against Sutherland and Finch this year, but you can almost pick the players that have got the hits against Sutherland Finch. I mean, you go through the lineups of Sturt, it was Maddie Cameron that got a hold of her there, so Aussie representative caught in no man's land.
Good pitch, yeah. That was very lucky for Emily. She could have easily been out. Caught in no man's land there, as you said, James, halfway down second base line.
So, and Jordan Lambert for West Torrens, Jenny Dunn for Seacombe, and Danny Perez, obviously a junior Aussie representative herself. Swings out on this occasion, strikes out on this occasion.
Brings up fifth batter, Maddie Rocher.
Well, we did see Emily steal first time round, and she got there pretty safely as well. So with 2 out, are you going to see her on the move, do you think?
I think so.
Yeah, I think so too.
And already Katie has 9 K2s.
She's popped it up there, and Ella Forrester just moves back a little bit there, but takes a routine catch to retire the side.
It's been easy then, looking straight into the sun, I believe there.
Yeah, just Maddie just
no harm
go
done.
under it, no. And yep, nice take there by Ella, young Ella Forrester, and what are we up to in innings-wise here, Lee?
Bottom of the fourth?
Bottom
Bottom of the fourth, and it's still 1-0, Hills Heat.
Yeah, very tight game so far, and it's been off the back of both teams' pitchers just stepping up for their sides. Lee's mentioned, 10, 11 strikeouts
9
now?
for Katie and 6 for George.
And the drop third strike, do you count that one? 10?
Yeah, 10.
And 5 for George, did you say?
6 for George,
6
I
for
have.
George.
Yeah. Yep.
So,
well, it's great to see, though, that when the ball has gone into play, that both teams' defences have stepped up. We've seen a double play, a couple of good catches, and that line drive to Vicky McFarlane, and that pop-up bunt to Tash Straps, and the fly ball for Ella Forrester. So the field, 2 team defences are doing great as well, backing up their pitches.
And you've got to be ready at all times in the field, because in a game like this, a tight game as it is, you never know when the next ball is coming out to you. It's not coming out on a regular basis.
And this person up to bat now, Rita Meyer, can certainly put a ball out. So we'll see what happens here. Nice grounder out there to Danny Perez, and just took a little bit of an unfortunate bounce there. And yes, here we go. We've got our first batter up and our first batter on base.
She did the right thing. She attacked the ball that bounced a couple of times. On the second bounce, it just creaked up on her a little bit there, and she did very well to block the ball as well. So reducing it to a single.
Good point, James. Very fair point. She did attack the ball, and it was the second bounce, wasn't it? Just reared up.
That brings up our DP, Emily Cutuzzo. And she's looking to get that bunt down to advance the runner.
I may have spoken about this before, about bunting the first strike, but
Team's
I'll say it
expecting
again.
it.
Yeah, team perspective, I would always wait for the second one.
Well, I think we'll see some more aggressive calls from Butch. We saw a little bit of it last inning. He wants to get that run back. He's desperate to get that run back.
Oh, that's a great hit.
That's a beautiful piece of the ball.
Yeah, right down the middle. Nice single advancing the runner. Well done, Emily.
Always happy to see the DP come up with a hit. They're in the lineup with that one job to do, and that's to get hits, advance runners, and that's exactly what she did.
Yeah, a lot of people can't just bat as a DP, can they, James? They need to be fielding as well. That's why people like catchers make very good batters, because they see the ball all the time.
And that brings up Tash Straps, and no outs. Lots of opportunities here. Tash 2 looking to put the bunt down. And
Could have been on the first strike too. I think it was more like a advanced bunt, like a semi-hit and run play. Then as both runners took off on the pitch.
So 1 strike on Tash Straps.
Has to do it again, I think.
Here she comes. Yep, and there she goes. Yeah, good job, Tash. First of all, to avoid that, or didn't want to get caught hitting the ball and being out of box. That would have been an automatic out, but good pickup by Amber Hood quickly. We'll just have a look there. Looks like
She did have to dance around the ball, didn't she? And as Amber come up to fire that ball, perhaps Alex Mackey thought that she might have played the safe out at first, but Amber had other things on her mind. Wanted to get the lead runner. Now, Port Adelaide threatening. Loaded bases, none out. Good part of the lineup as well with Forrester and then Katie Sutherland-Finch. Gemma Lenton, the speedster up to bat. Georgia Murphy hit that line drive. Hit into a double play, but you don't mind that when it's a line drive hit as hard as that. So
and there's
very good
nobody
batters
out.
with
Nobody
no
out.
outs.
And we've got that infield in close now. They're going to be wanting to shoot that to home at any opportunity. Oh, big swing there by Ella. She wants to hit it, but that was just a little too high for her.
Yes, I think so. Though any ball that gets away here, if it gets in the dirt, Rita Meyer will score, I'm telling you.
That's a good pitch there by Georgia, and just another strike there for Ella. So we'll see if she's going to make some sort of an adjustment here. Looks like she is going to. 2 strikes on her.
Goes up the handle a little.
Great pitch, Georgia Hood, and almost got her leading off, almost got Rita leading off there at third base. Just dropped out of her glove there.
Statewide Super Replay will show the strikeout and then the pickoff attempt. Gee, dangerous. Rita Meyer coming back inside the diamond as well. That's not a bad tactic. But if that ball is hit and she's hit inside the field of play, then she's going to be out for interference. But let's move back to Sutherland Finch with loaded bases.
I'm pretty sure I've seen Katie in this position before. Loaded bases coming up, and I'm pretty sure she converted fairly well on it.
Well, she goes hard, doesn't she? She knows one way. The college nickname was the Bulldog, and probably can see why. Very aggressive, both pitching and as we can see, batting. 2 home runs already this year. We'll never forget the 3-run home run that was probably a little overshadowed by a pitching performance.
Yeah.
The 18 strikeout perfect game, but let's see what she comes up with a great hitters count here.
She's got 2 balls on her. Georgia Hood will be wanting to make sure that it is not going anywhere near the middle of the plate. And so, yeah, she's working her way around. Three balls on her side now.
Well, George threw it exactly where Amber called it, so mustn't been much in it.
A 4-ball walk.
I'm taking the pitch or 2 here.
Right down the middle there, brings up her first strike.
Play the percentages.
We have a disagreement on 3-0 swings, but that's the one I probably would have been going for if it was going to come down the middle.
Well,
with loaded bases.
Oh, that's a great pitch. So it brings up full count.
Perhaps she knew the task that's ahead of her here. They're down 1-0. They really need a calm head in the batter's box here, and if they can get a walk, they tie up the game. So not a bad call from your leader. Watch
can't afford to go down looking though here now.
Nothing wrong with that one.
Oh, a little high for the zone, and that brings up the run, and we've got a tied ball game.
Coach Sims has called out to his batter, strikes only, nothing else.
Gemma Letton
There's one.
got herself on base last time with a fumble out at, only a small fumble out at third base with Alex Mackey, but she certainly ran so quickly that it was really always going to be a safe.
I tell you what, if I had Vicky McFarlane running at third, I would go squeeze in this situation. Look how deep the liners are playing.
2 strikes on Gemma. Nice piece, just fouled off to the right side line.
Have a look who's in the front row here. Chook Letton, Gemma's father, just watching.
Praying.
Very close, isn't he?
Silently praying.
Another great piece, just again fouling it off behind. She's definitely got her eye in today and looking to get a piece here.
For a young player, she's batting like a very experienced player. Like she's fouled off a couple with a 2-0-2 count. Well done so far from Letton. It's a good battle.
Got to keep swinging, no looking.
Yeah, nice piece. Oh, what a great pick up there, Danny Perez. Nice backhander, flick over to Alex Mackey at third base.
Gemma Letton does the job. This one goes in the 5-6 hole. As you called it, Kathy, Danny Perez has gone to backhand side. She had no choice but to play the runner heading to third. Second out made.
And 1 run scored on that. Brings up a 2-1 ball game, and we've got Georgia Murphy in the batting
She comes
box
up with
now.
another liner that clears the field. It'll cost them 2. Well, 1 now.
It's definitely a focus from Port Adelaide because most of the batters this innings have gone first pitch.
Yep.
This one's going to be tough to pick up.
Yeah, that was a great piece, but a good pickup there by Alex. She had a bit of a look and thought, nope, I'm just going to go for the bat here. Shoots it over to first. We'll have a look at the replay here.
This is that third pitch, or the full count pitch on Katie Sutherland Finch. There is not much wrong with that one.
No.
And, you know, you don't like to criticise, but I think maybe, just maybe, Port Adelaide were gifted a run on that occasion.
Yeah, that was that looked pretty from my end, from the replay end as well.
Well, we're getting through the innings. We're about to reach the hour mark, and we've completed 4 now. And Port Adelaide are holding on to a slender 1-run lead.
Yeah, it's ended up being a really close game between the first placed and the 5th place teams on the ladder.
Credit to the competition as well, how close it really is. It's, you know, any team on any given day can have a win. You can see, we've seen Seacombe a fair bit this season, and they're bottom, but they've only dropped games by, either one poor inning or one run. And
I've been through the 30 games that's been played, and 13 of those, would you believe, 43% have been one-run victories.
There's a couple of draws as well.
2 draws, yeah. Well, this time last year, lots of draws at this time last year.
Yeah, it's been a great season so far, and if you want to get an opportunity to look at some of your past games, like Lee has said, you can always go back onto our Spacequake Sports and Softball SA Facebook pages and then click on the links. It'll take you to YouTube where you can see all of our past games that have been live streamed on Saturdays and on Wednesday nights.
Yeah, a lot of choices now, Kath. Good point.
All right, Hills heat up. They want to capitalize on this one run in favor of Port Adelaide here. We've got Alex Mackey up first.
And we have a change in the field for Port Adelaide. Jess Neves comes on to second place, replacing Ella Forrester.
Nice start off there by Katie Sullivan Finch. First pitch, first strike.
She's coming at him hard now that she's got the lead. She doesn't want to give it up. And just the fight in this young pitcher, she's doing very well. Shot from Alex Mackey.
Shot by Alex. Good job. Good fielding out there at right field by Rita. But that brings up Alex, brings up Alex on the base and no runs out. So that's going to give a few opportunities here for Hills to capitalize on this position here and hopefully equal the score.
Great shot from Alex Mackey. That's the first hit of the game for the Hills Heat.
And Jess Neves in the game straight away. First pitch.
Yeah, great
Finds
pitch,
herself
Katie.
in the horizontal position, trying to stop it. Needed longer arms then, I think, Jessie.
Didn't take her long to get that uniform full of chalk and dirt.
It's always impressive when you see dirty uniforms.
I like it. So Mackenzie Wayne up. Gonna have a bit of a swing at it there. Pulls up 2 strikes.
Just got to keep her composure a little bit here. Hills with the leadoff on base. She's now behind in the count 0-2. She's got to make contact here, put the ball in play and try and advance the runner.
Yeah, great pitching there. 3 pitches, 3 strikes. Brings up the first out for the inning. And we see Courtney May coming up. So Courtney had a 2-run RBI on Wednesday night off a couple of errors from the Seacom defensive team.
We can see first and third in pretty close, anticipating a bunt. Pretty well read as well from the Port defence.
Off the first pitch, it went in the air. No surprise.
No surprise. High pitch. And that's what usually happens.
Outfield are in as well, so they're defending the blooper or even the same shot Alex Mackey had. It was a hard hit shot, but it was a ground ball that they could defend. So
yeah, great pitch. Gone from high in the zone to just scraping low in the zone. What great pitching there by Katie.
Hard to get a piece of that height, isn't it, James, when you're batting?
Yeah.
Very hard.
0-2 count.
Courtney's made an adjustment here. And just fouled it off behind. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
Going past the hour mark now.
Great piece there. Vicky's going to take that herself. Oh, yes! What a play!
Excuse me.
She kind of had a little bit of a hesitation, thought, shall I, shan't I? And yeah, I'll go for it. And wow, that paid off.
Statewide Super Replay will show it here. McFarlane picks up this ground ball. It was pretty well hit from Courtney May, looking to toss it over to the second base player, but she decided to go herself.
Yeah,
she gets the put out, then gets the assist in the double play. This is the better angle.
That's a great play. Look at her go. Oh, yeah, I'll take that too.
Would have liked to see a bit of a better effort from Mackey to break up the double play. However, and Courtney May nearly beat this out. So good decision in the end from McFarlane to take it on herself.
Nice play.
pretty close at first as well, wasn't it? So bang, bang play.
And how good has it been for our traditional people who've been playing traditionally other positions like your Belle Whites and your Vicky McFarlane? Belle, we usually see it catcher, Vicky in the outfield. They've all coming into the infield now in the shortstop position and doing such an awesome job at it.
Yeah, the top quality players can generally move into another position pretty well. There's obviously a couple of things that she may have done differently. We might have seen a Jordan Lambert attack that one and rely on the second base player being there, but Vicky McFarlane, she held back a little bit and it worked out in her favour there. So great play. I'm not taking anything away from her at all.
Up here for thinking and down there for dancing, or in this case, running.
And speaking of Vicky, she's first in the lineup here for Port Adelaide, and they're at the top of the lineup as well in the 5th inning.
I think I'd be trying another running bunt myself.
Yeah, good watching. That was close.
Yeah, the more running bunt attempts that she makes, the more she's unpredictable, because we know that she can line drive the ball to the fence as well, taking extra bases. So it really puts the defense in two minds.
Yeah, and Georgia just looking to make sure again she doesn't pop that down the middle for anybody. But in going for the edges there, we've got 3 balls.
Smart player, isn't she, Vicky? Just tuned in to the game.
Yeah, well done. And has a look at that. Too high for her, and that's probably where you don't want her, is on first base with no outs, but that's where she is.
Well, Port have done it again, probably for what, the third or fourth time so far this game. The leadoff has got on, and it was vital for them last inning. They had loaded bases without any out this inning. Leadoff on again.
That's a nice pitch there, but yeah, just outside, and Talia very patient there.
Well, there's a play on this pitch because they were doing it first pitch last inning. Perhaps Sims trying to just mix it up a little here, but we'll see Talia George come around, and this one gets away from Hood.
And Vicky turning and looking to see if she can get an extra one on that.
I wouldn't be having a dip then.
Yeah, so the pitch just getting away from Amber Hood there, and Vicky just...
Amber throws it up to second from a long way away, and I think with Vicky hovering around that base, I wouldn't mean taking that on, just in case.
And she wanted to take another base there, just like she did the first time she was up, and there was a little fumble away from the defensive player.
Let it go foul. Alex Mackey does just that. Well, the top half of the order have got a great opportunity to score McFarlane and stretch that lead for the Magpies. We can see Butch Sims going to work on his signals there, and he'll be expecting George to get this one into play.
Just a little bit behind. Yeah, don't be surprised if she gets it in play that Vicky's going to turn around and be looking for to get herself home as well, not just looking at one base.
2-2 the count.
Oh, great pitch.
He's kept it away from Talia then.
Brings up the first out.
Well, we spoke about the quality of George, but it's Georgia, actually, that's won the battle today. 3 strikeouts for Talia George, so well done to Georgia Hood, because Talia is no slouch for the Magpies.
She isn't.
Rita Meyer now to try to bring in McFarlane.
Yeah, and did a job, Rita. Put the bunt down. Routine play from Georgia Hood at pitcher to over to first base, and move the runner around into a scoring position.
Well, it'll be interesting to hear your thoughts on this one. With Emily Cattuso up to bat, there's 2 out. If she hits a single, Vicky McFarlane would score from second base, you would have thought. So interesting to see that Rita Meyer was the one to bunt her to third base.
Yes, it was. A very different scenario, but it's Vicky, isn't it, running? So what can't she do when she's on bases?
And high pitch there from Georgia, and brings up first strike on the DP, Emily Cattuso.
Put a motor on it, she said.
A long foul. No, I'll just go back to my point. My point being that if Rita had hit a ball to the outfield, McFarlane would have scored on that. And if she'd got out, now Katuzo comes up to bat with an extra out. She's still going to score from second or third if the ball goes to the outfield. So that's my point. I think that Port Adelaide just gave him an out then.
Good eye there. Yeah, I agree with you, James. I think Rita's a quality batter anyway, so whatever she would have done, probably Vicky was going to get an extra base.
Yeah. I tell you what, that foul ball was a hard struck ball, wasn't it?
Oh, looking for corners and edges there, and that one would have been just outside.
Last time we saw that, Port Adelaide capitalised and scored a run. All right, just a little outside the strike zone, and could Port Adelaide make them pay again?
Well, good job in there, Emily. Looking like could have potentially been one that she would have gone after, but she held back. Full count.
Tash straps on deck, so plenty of quality in this lineup.
And that retires a side. Good pitching there, Georgia Hood, staying really
Certainly
composed.
was.
A sigh of relief from the Hills dugout as well, I think, because another run may have been tough to peg back against Sutherland Finch, or 2 runs would be tough to get back from Sutherland Finch, and seeing as that they've only had the 3 base runners so far in the game, so they really need to learn as they come through to their 3rd time through the lineup. We're about up there at the 9-hitter now, so it's going to be interesting to see how this game unfolds with about 18 minutes to go. It's close.
Terrific.
It's been terrific so far.
Yeah, it is. It's a lot of intrigue in the game.
And I know we mentioned some of our social media ways that you can catch up with softball and rewatch some of the games. But if you're in more of the big screen, you can catch all the action at home from the comfort of your own couch on the NITV, channel 34 on SBS and 144 on Foxtel on Sundays at noon, and on channel 44 SA Community TV on Saturday afternoons. Plenty of ways to make sure that you don't miss any of the action here, or even rewatch it. Games like this would be certainly well worth watching over again.
So new hit of the game, it's Nikki Brennan replacing Reggie Fairley with this turn at bat at least.
All right, Nikki will be looking to get Hills Heat started.
Look how close the infield is.
Yeah, especially since we're up to the top of the lineup after this. Oh, that's a clever pitch. Just down low though.
Yes, new hit of the game, knowing how fast Katie can pitch, she was probably expecting a quick one. She didn't get it.
Yeah, there it is. 1 ball, 1 strike on Nikki.
Probably right at the top of the zone, I would have thought. That last pitch. Don't want anything higher than that.
Wait for the music before you start dancing, says Tash Straps, and Nikki gets bounced back another metre.
It's a nice running butt there, but right in the hands of Tash Straps, and yes, Tash fielded right. Oh, not much more she can do there.
She fielded that 2 metres off the bat.
Yeah.
She's
She was
very
in close.
confident, very confident.
All right, brings up Amber Hood, top of the lineup here. Amber's had a strikeout on a line drive to shortstop, so I'm no doubt she'll be wanting to change things up a little bit here. Another ground out there to 6. Ground to shortstop, and Vicky makes it quite an easy play, scooping it up and shooting it over to first base. Tash Straps for the 2nd out.
This is the statewide super replay on Brennan, and just had to run into that tag. Really, she didn't even have time to look up to avoid it. But that last play, McFarlane again, just back a little bit, backed her arm to make the play. So she's got a good arm. It's a unorthodox throwing action, that side arm that she's got, but very effective.
And we've got Emily Hopkins up to bat. Emily's gotten on some interesting ways so far this game.
Two very interesting ways. Dropped third strike and they're hit by a pitch ball.
But it's worked for her. So
that's her hitting position, her hitting zone, Emily. The one about midsection, and she can really hit it hard. So you need to throw change up now, I'd suggest.
We spoke about making adjustments in the box as well, according to the pitcher, learning from your last turn at bat. Amber struck out her first turn at bat, line drive to shortstop her second at bat, and then a ground out to shortstop for her third one. So she really did make that adjustment. Just unfortunate for her that they found their best defensive player out there in McFarlane.
Yeah, it's and we've seen that, haven't we, with Sturt this year since Bell White, as Kathy mentioned before, about catches going out to other positions. Have your best players where the ball is being hit. We've seen it today.
Yeah, and the way Katie's been pitching this year, I doubt there's been too many hits out in the outfield, so bringing a quality player like Vicky McFarlane into the infield makes perfect sense. Emily's hanging in there. We've got a full count here.
K2s and no base on balls for the pitcher Sutherland Finch at this stage.
Well, we know she's past the 100 mark. I'd be interested to see how many walks she's thrown this year.
Oh. Emily's face there saw that pitch otherwise, but it's K2 who calls the game. KT who calls the game here, and it was a K2.
Oh, well done, Kath.
KT pitching, KT umpiring, and a K2 or KC for that last turn at bat.
Yeah, what a great, still really good game here, 2-1. And Hills will want to make sure that there's nothing more than that from this inning from Port Adelaide.
Yeah, well, if Port can bat for 10 minutes here, they'll tie up the game, or they'll not tie up the game, they'll win the game.
I'm thinking I'm taking my time in this batting innings.
And we've seen Sims with his aggressive calling and signals going after a first pitch a lot of the times for the batters, putting on the hit and runs, putting in on the bunts, and a couple of stolen bases as well. So, you know, maybe a little change of tactics coming late into the game.
Yes.
Hills have got no time to mess around here at the 79-minute mark.
And first up for Port Adelaide, we've got Tash Straps.
And during that break, Amanda Fairley, Reggie re-entered out there at left field.
Tash Straps up to bat. Might be a good time to start talking about the statewide super player of the game with about 10 minutes to go. Otherwise, Hills have only got 3 outs to make that 1 run back. So Port Adelaide a chance to put some more runs on the board. Hills can get out of this quickly. The bottom part of the Port Adelaide order, they'll get 1 more opportunity. So, you know, the 2 pitchers have been standouts for me. Perhaps Sutherland Finch more so with her strikeouts. Georgia's done quite well, but she did walk that 1 run in.
Well, I think you've also got to look at McFarlane too. She's been on 3 times out of 3 turns at bat, and she's made some really good plays and some terrific stealing and base running.
Well, that's a good point, because the game's not one-dimensional, is it?
No.
You can strike out the side, but you still need to score runs to win. So, yeah, McFarlane up the top of the order's been on all 3 times. Is that right?
Yes, yes.
Oh, great hit, but great reaction as well, Georgia Hood.
Well, pitchers catch them or they wear them, don't they? And I think it's
That's
self-preservation. Terrific catch by George.
terrific.
It was going, it was motoring.
She just looked almost like just casually stuck her hand out there, and there it was. But it's not as easy as it looked. She made it look. And we've got Jess Neves up. Neves. Yeah, statewide super. Yes, I'm leaning. Both pitchers have done. Here he is, this catch again here. Absolutely great stuff there, Georgia Hood. Definitely, both pitchers have done a great job. But yeah, agree. Vicky McFarlane great work in the field, but also offensively as well.
Neves doing as we suggested, taking a couple of pitches as well, so to slow this down.
Small strike zone, very small strike zone. She needs to take advantage of it.
And 2 strikes, 1 ball. George will be wanting to get her out very quickly here. Nice high pitch, but just got a good piece of it. Fouled it off behind.
Let's have a look at that return catch from Georgia Hood on the statewide Super Replay, and we've seen a couple of those, haven't we? Even over the years. Monica Perry's one from a couple of years ago, and that stun look that she had.
Nice piece, Jess. Fouled off to right field.
Barbara Skopova, she had one a couple of weeks ago as well.
Against Seacombe.
That ball was hit so hard, I think she blinked, and then when she opened her eyes, the ball was in the glove.
Yeah, certainly was. And then you just go off saying routine out.
Yeah, as I said, they do make it easy, but having been a pitcher myself at my time, it's not easy. You're just recovering from a pitch, and the next thing you know, there's a ball right at you. And great pitch there, Georgia Hood.
Well, interesting to see the Heels throwing this ball around because they don't have time to do that. They need to make this third out quick, smart, and with Sutherland Finch up to bat, would you be tempted to pass her up to go at the next hitter? Keep yourself in the game, because if she gets a hit, it's going to go. If she watches a few pitches, the at-bat could go on for long.
You'd be toying with the idea, but in Gemma Letton's favour, she's been on twice out of 2 appearances, but she's not going to hurt you like this girl will if she gets hold of one.
Yeah, tricky situation both ways.
Both
ways. They both have stayed in the box a long time and watched the pitches as well. They're not impatient batters. Oh.
Amber Hood just trying to work that outside edge, keep the ball away from Sutherland Finch, but plate umpire Tannebring wanting nothing of it. If they don't get this batter out, I think they might run out of time.
Nice piece there. Just again, fouled it off behind. Still.
Takes up time, doesn't it? Just fouling off.
1 ball, 2 strikes.
Sutherland Finch just has the hand up just to hold up the pitcher just for that extra 1 or 2 seconds. Good pitch, but she needs to get back up there and throw a strike. Sutherland Finch out of the batter's box here, which is interesting. She got the foot in there, holding up the hand again. So she's trying to buy time, isn't she?
Certainly is.
Oh, George's face says it all. It was so close.
Well, it could be the difference. This is the payoff pitch, but this could be the difference. If the ball goes into play right now, they'll run out of time. So so that call.
That's it, well called. That's exactly the situation.
Nice pitch.
And she nodded. Don't you like it when batters nod when the ball goes over the plate?
Yeah, pitcher's respect there.
Tannebring checks his watch. He looks up to first base. Don't think he can call it now. Coach Sims asking how much time is left. And there is enough. So we're going to go to the 7th. Heels have got 3 chances here to make up that 1 run to at least tie it. If it's tied, the Port Adelaide team will have an opportunity to win it. But if they don't score, it will be game. And so Port Adelaide in the box seat, 3 outs away from their 8th win of the season.
And if you want to have 3 batters coming up, how about the sounds of this? We've got Georgia Hood, Danny Perez, and Maddie Rocher.
Well, all state representatives, all in the state under-19 team. And you could possibly see them in the middle order for the South Australian under-19s in January at the National Championship. So definitely be looking to Georgia to get things off to a good start in this inning. 2 runs to 1. We've got a close game on our hands.
Yeah, that's definitely what we like to see, and we just hope that our spectators who are watching this right across the world are enjoying it as much as we are here as well, guys.
There's a fair crowd of people watching this game here today, which is good. George is not going to die wondering.
Yeah, she had a good cut at that. Might have been a little behind it, but she wasn't far off it as far as the trajectory of the pitch goes.
Oh, nice pitching there. She's got 2 on her now, but
can she throw the change up?
Well, I was just thinking the same thing. Two pitches, 2 big swings.
I think I'm throwing the change up. Especially with the way she's setting up, George.
Oh, that had some pace.
Or maybe a setup, because if you're going outside and you've got 2 strikes, you either want to get a cheap strike or it's a setup pitch. Maybe look to come inside at her, which I wouldn't be doing to Georgia Hood, or throw that hard one and then set her up for the change up.
I'm going change up. I'm just going change up.
Went for the high one.
She's going for the high and with plenty on it, wasn't it?
It was fast. Oh, I think that last pitch of Katie's that smashed against the wooden plank here might have provided a little dent in it.
I can remember the days when they used to check that when it hit uprights.
The framework. Umpire Tannenberg getting rid of the ball from the game. Well, good battle so far. 2 balls and 2 strikes.
Georgia making an adjustment here. Oh.
She knew it, George, too, didn't she? She knew it.
What a pitch. Right down the middle and fast as lightning. So 1 out here.
That little low lifter that starts out of the zone and it just sneaks its way into the bottom of the zone is a very tough one to get a piece of when you're a hitter in any competition. So great pitching from Sutherland Finch.
Good watching there by Danny Perez. Looking to start things off for Hills. Get in front here, one.
Well, she's watched those first 2. The first one up on the letters, and then this one here just catching the outside edge. Let's give some credit to catcher Georgia Murphy as well. She's done really well.
Oh, how nice was that?
How was that for a pitch?
Oh, that was beautiful. And it's so deceiving. Like her wind-up was no different than what we've seen all day, and then it just floated over.
That's the lick here or take away. It just stayed there. Wasn't taken anywhere.
That's a great pitch. Yeah, Katie Sutherland Finch showing what a quality pitcher she is here, knowing where they're at in the game and how important this inning is for Hills Heat, and she's just not letting him in the game at all. And we're just looking at it on replay here.
Bit of a super slow-mo as well, thanks to Statewide Super, the replay.
Reminds me of that Glenelg game a couple of Wednesdays ago, and Barb Skipova, those floating pitches that she was doing.
13 strikeouts now for the hyphenator.
Yeah, she's found another gear to up it now. The pitches are coming in fast, but also obviously we see some slow ones as well.
Last chance for the Hills Heat.
Maddie Rocher. Oh, clever pitching. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Good to see the variation in this last inning as well. She's really trying to mix it up as well, not letting the batters get settled, and we've seen 2 standing strikeouts as well so far this inning.
Nice piece, nice pickup though by Tash Straps to end the game, and a close one and a really exciting one. And Hills Heat got off to a jump early. Look at that pitch again. Hills Heat got off to an early lead, but Port Adelaide came back to take the win.
Great to see quality game right here, thanks to our broadcast partners, Statewide Super, MC Sport, MK Services, and of course Spacequake Sports. Let's talk about wrapping up this game. Let's grab the Statewide Super Player of the game if we can as well, and you know, the other games still to play today. For me, I agree with your call before, Lee. Vicky McFarlane, she had some great plays in the field. She was key at shortstop, but she led off for Port Adelaide so well. She scored a couple of their, at least one of their runs, Lee, and
Yes.
and then you know, great leader for the Port Magpies. So so well done to the Port Adelaide Magpies and to Vicky McFarlane, our statewide super player of the game.
And credit to Georgia Hood and Katie Sutherland Finch, 13 strikeouts, no mean effort.
So Sutherland Finch and Georgia Hood doing a great job for each of their teams, and you know, they were both key players. They were both key players for their lineup. You know, other games still to go today is Walkerville and Sturt, West Torrens and Glenelg. So more action still to come today, but we will join you next Wednesday here on Statewide Super. Stand by and we'll cut to a break and we'll come back with the Statewide Super Player of the Game.
And welcome back, and here I am with Vicky McFarlane, today's statewide super player of the game. Vicky, great game, on base 3 times, great defensive game as well. What was the game plan going in today?
The game plan was to make contact with Georgia. She throws pretty fast and hard, and as long as we were going to get pieces of the ball, then they were going to go.
Yeah,
So
that's great. And they had a great start. They were 1-0 up after the first inning. And so what was the game plan from there? Like, what did you guys say to try and peg back those runs?
Sure. We weren't hitting at first. Georgia did pitch a great game. We wanted to stay off the rise ball because we knew that she was going to throw some. And she really pitched a great game, and she did get us. Unfortunately, we got on.
Thanks to you, 3 times on base, and you took some real advantage of a couple of little bloopers there by the defensive side, and your speed obviously was a real credit to your game again today. Not only offensively, but that beautiful double play out there. So well done playing out there. And Katie Sutherland Finch, another great game. Lots of strikeouts. Yeah, must be very handy having a pitcher of her quality in your team.
Oh yeah, Katie's a great pitcher, and not only that, she's a really good leader on the field, and she always pumps all the energy up, and she's what we need on the mound. So she does a great job.
Well, congratulations, and nice to take the points there, and that'll help you stay in that first place position there. And well done on your win today.
Thank you very much.
Great pass. What a catch!
My goodness.
What an amazing catch from Vicky McFarlane.
Highlight reel. Never say yes to the jest. That was fantastic. Sarah Tonkin making a push for home. This is 400 herself. 13 strikeouts for Gabby Snyder and one of the best pitching performances we've seen this season. What a fantastic grab by Emma Burridge. She climbs the ladder and breaks it down. Ground this up the middle, that's going to score a run. Bruins score 2. Deep to left field. This is back, and this one is gone.